How do Mime Artists? Welcome to all of the special stages this week, starting off with the pirouette Meloetta, a great Pokemon with a fantastic ability you've no doubt seen, possibly used. You can farm, I think, all of these stages. Some of them are certainly better than others for their abilities and for their farming purposes, so do whichever ones you like. You might want to do them all, you might just want to do a couple, you might just want to get some of those skill boosts that you can get from some of these. So this team here is just a normal psychic team. We've got Shiny Mega Mewtwo, a normal Mewtwo for the Psy Strike ability that can do a lot of damage. Tapu Lele is very good here just to be able to get rid of as many of the breakable blocks and a couple of the unbreakable blocks as possible whenever it does go off. Some of you may have skill swapped Tapu Lele, which is understandable. Typeless combo is a great ability to have, so if you've done that, feel free to take along something else that's perhaps got block break, block smash, plus, anything along those lines. So something like a Winking Manaphy would be fine, even if it's not super effective. You've got some hard hitting Pokemon here in the Mewtwo. When it does the Psy Strike ability, it can do insane amounts of damage. And if you do swap out the Tapu Lele, feel free to take along, instead of the Deoxys, something else. Something that'll do a little bit extra damage for you in some combos. And there we go, one move left. These stages don't need to be S-ranked, they're just good for farming now. So you can see there a little bit of a skill boost for Meloetta, which is always fine. It does take 2 hearts, but just means you do it slightly less than you would otherwise. Next up here we have the Alolan Marowak. Going in with Mega Gengar, Hoopa, Giratina and Guzzlord. There will be a lot of Pokemon on the stage, and throughout the stage, every couple of turns the board will just completely clear, become filled with other Pokemon. As you can see here, Marowak, Cubone, Salazzle, a lot of Pokemon on the field. If you wanted to bring along something like a Celesteela, just for those couple of turns in between, that's completely understandable, and it would probably help you get rid of some of the Pokemon. Beyond that, this doesn't have too much health, so it's not that hard. If you can get a good couple of hits with Hoopa, if you use a skill swap for Typeless combo, even better. Not that hard of a stage, although there are disruptions, it's really not too tricky to work around them. There's certain ways or certain moves you can make just to be able to get rid of as many as possible from the field. Feel free to swap out the Guzzlord. I personally like using it. I think mine's is about level 10 or 11, so it's a fairly highly leveled Pokemon, and it can do a lot of damage on the first couple of turns. There we go, one move left again. Not too tricky of a stage, but you can always try bringing along Celesteela. This one is a 2-heart stage as well, so it can be a little bit expensive. And we've got Gollum up next with Mega Aggron, Buzzwole, Ash-Greninja and the Meloetta that you might have just caught. This stage, you can do a lot of damage with quite a few of these Pokemon. As you're no doubt aware, Meloetta is a very good Pokemon for hitting hard. The Buzzwole, anytime you make a match of 4, there's a possibility of doing a lot of damage with it. If you want to swap out one of them, perhaps the Ash-Greninja or the Meloetta for a Registeel on the stage, understandable, that would give you block smash plus. Help you get rid of some of those unbreakable blocks on the stage, which could be very good, just because there will be quite a few, and although there isn't much HP, so it's quite nice to go in with as much attack power as possible, sometimes the disruptions can get a little bit much, just preventing you from doing combos or doing any serious damage. There we go. 7 moves left and a skill boost as well. Not too shabby of a stage, as I say, perhaps swap out one of them for a Registeel and it'll be slightly easier, but not that tricky of a stage. Then next up here we have Regirock. If you want to swap out, I'd say perhaps the Meloetta for Primal Kyogre. If you've got it, go with that. There will be quite a lot of breakable blocks on the stage, so it could be very helpful just to combo slightly better, get some of the Regirocks doing more on the stage. That way they'll be able to get disrupted into themselves a little bit easier. So swap one of these out for Primal Kyogre and you'll be completely fine. This stage is not too tricky again. There is just 2 rows that will always be filled with Regirocks or blocks. You don't need to take along any eject Pokemon, I don't think, because usually they will disrupt into themselves, which is quite nice. They'll get rid of themselves just when you get rid of some of the breakable blocks. That's why I'd say taking along Primal Kyogre, if you have it, will make this stage so much easier. And it's not that difficult of a stage in and of itself. You've got 30 moves, which is plenty time. Once you've got the Mega Aggron going as well, you can then make matches just to make sure that the Regirocks are disrupting themselves with themselves, just moving away, getting some of those breakable blocks broken. And towards the end there will be some unbreakable blocks, but by that point you shouldn't be too far from being able to just knock it out. There we go. It's fine. It's not too hard. Fairly simple. It's a good, solid, not too shabby Pokemon. Then we've got Celebi up next. This one, if you're farming it, it can be skill swapped to Cheer or Cheer Plus, which means that there's more likelihood of your next match making, or the effect of your next match working. So say you've got a match with the Celebi and then a match with Meloetta, there's more chance that Meloetta's ability will go off after having used Celebi's Cheer, which is fairly fine. Mine's hasn't been skill swapped. I may do it, but I don't think I'd necessarily use Cheer too much. For the psychic types, the main ones I'd use are not ones that don't go off often enough for it to be too useful. So Pokemon like the Mewtwo with Psystrike, it goes off fairly regularly just because it's been so highly leveled. This stage, very simple, very easy indeed, and it's a fine farming one if you want to use Cheer. Then we've got the Thundurus once a day challenge. Mega Camerupt, Garchomp, Flygon, very good here just to get rid of some of the Pokemon on the stage. There's also Landorus, which is just very good, doing a little bit extra with, I think it's Risk Taker. So it can do a little bit extra, which is quite nice, a little bit extra damage in there. There's not much HP on this Pokemon at all. If you Flygon's highly leveled, you'll be able to take it out in 1 or 2 moves. I think mine's is only skill level 2 or 3, it's one I definitely need to get a little bit higher. And there we go, not too shabby in the slightest, no opportunity to use the camera at all. And a little Thundurus skill boost as well, I think it's power 5 plus, yeah. It's not a Pokemon I tend to use. And then next up here, or lastly here, we have Yvetal. Yvetal, whatever you want to call it, with a full fighting team. There will be some disruptions of unbreakable blocks. If you want to bring along a Gallade, that's understandable, just to be able to get rid of some of them, but it's not too awful. They're not too much trouble, and this Pokemon does not have much HP at all. So if you can make a couple of matches with the Buzzwole, with the Meloetta, and the abilities go off, this stage is simple, very easy. There will be some Yvetals on the stage as well, but once you've got the Mega Lucario, it doesn't become that much of a bother in the slightest. You can make matches, get rid of some of them, combo it, and that's it. A very simple stage that seems fairly generous with the skill boosts, which is nice for Yvetal. Although it is an expert stage, it has been brought over for this week. That way you can farm with it. But thank you very much for watching, and how do, Mime Artists?
Eggs! Eggs! E-double-G-S eggs!